The Communications and Information Ministry has announced a slew of measures to make our digital spaces safer, online transactions more secure, and to ensure that digitalisation benefits everyone. These include guidelines to help app developers build more secure applications, especially those that deal with high-risk financial transactions. And for telcos, how to help vulnerable customers when they register for phone plans. In addition, a new research program will bring experts together to combat online harms. Singaporeans will also get access to structured resources like guidebooks and videos under a new digital skills framework. That's to help them strengthen their digital skills to perform daily tasks. The announcements come after 5 MPs from the Government Parliamentary Committee, or GPC, led by Chairman Tin Pei Ling, tabled a motion for the government to make digital spaces more inclusive and more secure. They raised 13 demands that aimed to prevent scams, reduce harmful content, and make sure no one was left behind. Some specific asks included making banks and e-commerce platforms adopt stronger identity authentication methods and making social media services accountable for harmful content.
If we do not make a clear stand and actively manage these issues, we risk losing the public's trust in the digital world, thereby losing out on the benefits of convenience to citizens and benefits of productivity and innovation for our national economy.
In response to the motion, the Communications and Information Ministry says it has taken bold and decisive moves to maintain online safety and will continue to do so. It launched a new set of guidelines by the Cyber Security Agency to help local app developers enhance security measures. This would better protect their users from common malware and phishing attempts. It will first focus on high-risk mobile apps that allow financial transactions. The Safe App Standard will focus on 4 critical areas. It will help developers tighten authentication and authorization access, ensuring that user identity is correct through the use of mechanisms like biometrics and PIN numbers before allowing access rights to resources within the application. It will also encourage developers to protect sensitive data stored either in the user's device or on their server. Security measures such as antivirus capabilities can also be implemented to prevent malicious attacks on their applications. Those who follow the standards may display a notice informing users that they have met them.
The standard will set out best practices that reduce the risk of malicious actors exploiting weaknesses in the app design. CSA will also consider how best to help end users easily identify apps that meet these standards. As the standard is new, we will assess its usefulness in due course and whether to keep it voluntary or to make it mandatory.
Apart from the Safe App Standards, a new program will also serve as a platform to bring together research partners and companies. The aim is to find solutions to detect and prevent online harm, such as misinformation and manipulated content. $20 million has been set aside for this program over 5 years.
As the landscape evolves, we will need to grow new capabilities to keep pace with scammers and online risks. These research efforts will also help inform new legislation or regulations that we will need for issues such as deepfakes and which we are studying.
The Senior Minister of State for Communications and Information, Tan Kiat Hao, says that the push towards digitalisation doesn't mean a digital-only approach. He adds that non-digital options are still available, but the government is committed to reaping the benefits from digital advancements. Now, to this end, the Digital Skills for Life, or DSL, was launched. It will provide a structured way for Singaporeans of all ages to learn essential skills for daily online tasks.
Making digital work for all also means supporting all Singaporeans, regardless of their circumstances, to benefit from digitalisation. It is often said that a measure of a society is how it looks after its most vulnerable. And you are taking steps to support those who need more help to benefit from going digital.
As Singapore grows increasingly digital, Madam Fok and Madam Rukumani are seniors determined to keep up with the times. Whenever they have any questions about how to use their devices, they visit an SG Digital Community Hub. So far, they've picked up some useful skills.
I used to message my grandson. If it's birthday, I'll message him and I put some other lovely pictures of him. Even I'll talk to my friend in a voice message.
And apart from verbal lessons, they're also given resources so that they can revise at home.
The talk was quite okay for us. We understand. Another thing is they also issue booklet. Once you can't remember if you can read Chinese or English, you just look through, then you can follow the step. The step was very good in the book, step by step. So I think that is good for us.
There are 2 of the 16,000 participants who were part of a 5-month pilot that led to the creation of the skills framework. It will see structured resources covering 24 topics across 5 basic skills. These include how to set up and use smart devices, searching for information, connecting with others online, and staying safe. They will also be taught how to make transactions. The ministry says this will help those who need a longer time to learn to focus on building their fundamentals confidently.
Unlike existing frameworks to equip Singaporeans with digital skills for the workplace or for specific sectors, the DSL outlines the digital skills to enable Singaporeans to carry out day-to-day tasks online.
Those interested can access in-person learning at the SG Digital Community Hubs or learn at their own pace on the Digital for Life portal. Digital resources in English will be made available starting this month, while those in other languages will be progressively launched by the end of June this year.
MPs on both sides of the aisle earlier outlined the key concerns about the increasing risk of online scams and harmful content. Several called for banks and telcos to take more responsibility beyond measures currently in place.
And if the continued proliferation of scams over the past 2 years are any guide, these measures alone remain insufficient to stem the tide of financial fraud.
We need to review the approach to victims of scams by unauthorized transactions. Placing the sole blame on scam victims for such transactions is unfair.
We all believe that big companies should be better able to bear losses than individuals. We also want to put more pressure on big companies to take the necessary precautions to protect individuals.
Communications and Information Minister Josephine Teo says the upcoming Shared Responsibility Framework, or the SRF, will enhance the accountability of banks and telcos in protecting customers from phishing scams.
Compared to the payout frameworks in other jurisdictions, which only impose obligations on banks, the SRF already holds a wider scope of entities accountable by including telcos. Duties are also specified to clearly hold banks and telcos accountable to the victims. Even if there is no breach of duty and hence no payout under the SRF, there are other avenues of recourse for victims. These include banks' goodwill frameworks, which can provide some comfort to victims of new scam tactics.
The minister also responded to calls for the government and social media companies to better protect young users from harmful digital content. One concern is that the code of practice for online safety to help shield users, especially children, does not go far enough.
While social media services and app developers have policies specifically for young users, a critical gap remains: the challenge of accurately determining the age of users. Now, beyond self-declaration, these platforms need reliable age assurance measures, as the current system is easily circumvented.
I call on platforms and apps to step up age assurance measures to better protect young users from harmful content and have in place better verification and restriction measures.
There is currently no foolproof measure to prevent false age declarations on social media platforms. But the technology has improved. Today, age assurance is achievable to a fairly high degree of accuracy without compromising privacy. MCI and IMDA are monitoring the developments and will study viable regulatory options to better protect children online through age assurance measures.
In the course of the exchanges, non-constituency MP Hazel Phua also called for more action from the Central Provident Fund Board. She alleged a recent trend of thefts involving CPF accounts that Manpower Minister Tin Pei Ling said was untrue.
Another institution to which duties should be assigned to mitigate scams is the CPF board, where many Singaporeans' life savings are held. It is very worrying that recently there has been a trend where CPF accounts were emptied by scammers who had taken control of the users' SingPass and bank accounts.
She mentioned that CPF accounts have been emptied. That point is not true, it's inaccurate, because the way we've constructed the CPF is at 55, you have the basic retirement sum within the retirement account. So only amounts above the basic retirement sum can be withdrawn from the CPF ordinary account or special account. Our CPF safeguards are no less stringent than what banks have put in place.